In today's episode, guys, I got a very interesting guest here with me today. I'm with Ashley Levesque, who's hailing over as the VP of Marketing at Banzai. And Banzai is a great tool for marketers. I mean, this is a podcast for marketers, from marketers. And essentially today we want to really, have a look at a tool that it can be helpful for a lot of you guys. I'm not just saying that because in the end, guys, you all have a lot of data, you love data. And the problem is, how do we uncover ROI typically? And that's really what Banzai is all about, to allow you to finally prove and improve the value of your marketing campaigns. So, Ashley, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Sure. So maybe let people know a little bit about Banzai at the first place. Let's say they've never heard it before. What is it all about?
Yeah. So Banzai is a marketing technology company, and we are focused on providing tools for marketers who love data, which are most marketers, I find. But what we find in our market research is that marketers are having an increasingly frustrating time trying to prove ROI of their marketing campaigns. So Gartner tells us that for the last 6 years, this has been the #1 challenge among marketers, particularly in the 10 to 50 million annual range kind of company size. It's the last 6 years, and it's getting worse. The percentage of brain space this is taking for marketers is increasing significantly year over year. And we find that the issue for them isn't a lack of data, right? As a fellow marketer, I empathize with this. I have tons of data. I have data in every single tool. I have millions of tools. Every one of them has data. I've got data all over the place. The problem isn't a lack of data. The problem is twofold. One, the data isn't cohesive. It's not in a single source of truth. And if it is, we find a lot of data in our marketing automation platform. That is a great place for data to be stored. That is what most marketers are using as their single source of truth. If that's the case, it brings us to the second problem, which is a lack of insights. So we need to have our marketing data not only in one single source of truth for us to be able to accurately pick it apart and get a better sense of the holistic buyer's journey, but we need that data to tell us something. It's not enough for that data to be pulled into reports or looked at in list form. We need it to actually help us inform the decisions that we make as marketers every day, and that's what we focus on at Banzai.
Makes a whole lot of sense. Now, what would you say? You already kind of alluded to sort of, the revenue sort of that, marketers typically start to tap into that problem. What is sort of like an ideal market, like which marketers benefit the most? Is there like a certain, website traffic, a certain volume, a certain amount of spend that they would typically do? Where do you see typically like a great fit?
So we're finding definitely marketers between really starting with the annual revenue range of $10 million, because we find that that's usually the tipping point where there is some sort of dedicated marketing function. Under $10 million, sometimes in that stage, there aren't marketers. There are still founders or CEOs or solopreneurs kind of running their marketing and go-to-market strategy exclusively themselves. Once we hit that 10 million mark, we're starting to get to a more mature marketing organization where we at least have one marketer dedicated to marketing, if not more. And usually what we're finding is that those marketers are generalists. And so they are responsible for the entire demand gen strategy, the entire content strategy, the entire paid strategy. These are really growth marketers, at their core responsibility, but they're serving all of the channels. And so I think the challenge comes in not only what we talked about before regarding data, but also from a resource perspective, right? These marketers are 1 or 2 person shops, and they are not only executing all of the campaigns, they're doing it on a reduced budget, because we know that marketing budgets were slashed significantly this year. They're doing it with a smaller team because we know layoffs, especially in the tech industry, hit hard over the last couple of years. But they're also then responsible for reporting the impact of their channels and campaigns. So, okay, VP of Finance comes in and says, here, we'll allocate this budget to marketing. Now come back to me and let me know what impact it had on the business.
Mhm.
And marketers are not able to have that conversation today.
That makes a whole lot of sense. Now, what would you say, how do these marketers learn about you guys? Like, how do they find you? What's their journey looking like in order to, get aware and get started with Banzai?
Yeah. So one of our most popular products is a product called Demio, which is a webinar platform that has really, really incredible data and analytics that provide webinar insights for people, well beyond, who attended and who registered, but insights that actually can be used to help you identify intent during your webinar session. And that product in particular brings a ton of business our way. It is one of our highest channels of web traffic is branded search, actually, for Demio. People know Demio in the marketplace. Our customers are happy and talking about Demio a ton. And so between customer advocacy and word of mouth, we are finding a ton of traffic coming our way through that particular channel.
Gotcha. Makes a whole lot of sense. Now, what would you say, what role does the website play in their journey? When we're talking from a digital angle, like how do you think about the website? What role does that play?
We think about the website as the entire go-to-market strategy, really, of the business. Demio itself as a product has a PLG motion. And so the entire buying journey can and often does take place on Demio's website. And so that requires Demio's website to have content and functionality that supports the entire journey. Everything from thought leadership type content, education content at the top to help empathize with pain points and help to kind of understand where the problems lie, to more evaluation type content. Okay, so how do I compare this product to other products? We need to have content about that. We also have, we're big fans of interactive demos. So we use Levesque to do interactive demos on the site, which is another important part of that evaluation stage, where we want to push people to try the product out, see it for themselves in a non-friction capacity. We don't gate the interactive demos. We don't ask for information. We just allow them to test it out and play with it. When they are further down the funnel and they're ready to make the next step, we offer a free trial, which can be taken place directly on the website. We offer book a demo options to speak directly with sales teams in kind of a hybrid PLG motion, especially important for those enterprise type businesses who have longer sales cycles or have more requirements needed in their vendor selection. So the entire buying journey, like I said, could happen there, but we have a lot of other, what I call like on ramps or off ramps to help support wherever they are in their process.
Very good. Now, every marketer I talk to, right, when we talk actually about the website, there's always sort of, there's always that urge to keep on improving and updating and changing the website. Where do you see sort of like a major strength of the website versus where do you see some, maybe room for further development for the page?
Yeah, this is a great question. So we have fallen into the habit of doing consistent A/B testing on our site, and we're pretty much doing it all the time. We have isolated our top handful of revenue driving pages on our site, and we are constantly toying with copy, button colors, headline changes, layout, to really help us hone in on how we can optimize those conversion rates. Now, one of the things that we have learned that we are continuing to work on is that at some point you need to just ship it. And that sometimes all of the testing in the world is not going to help you understand the true impact of something as small as a color change as just putting it out into the world. And when it comes to, we talked about resource constraints. Our team is not an exception to that rule. When it comes to how we best want to use our resources and bandwidth, testing every little minute thing on our website is not always how we want to do that. So it has proven to be both really beneficial for us and has definitely moved the needle in terms of bigger changes to high revenue pages. And we have also learned places where the statistical significance is so insignificant
Mm.
that we just stop testing that stuff and we just push it out into the world.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. I'd love to switch gears a little bit as we're slowly approaching the end of the interviews. I would have some rapid fire questions for you to get to know you and your journey as a marketer a little bit better. Are you ready for those?
I'm ready.
So first thing, what would be the last book or the last podcast that you've been reading or listening to?
Oh, okay. So I'm currently on a crime thriller sort of kick with Karen Slaughter. She's one of my favorite authors. I don't know why I read it before bed because it definitely keeps me up at night, but for some reason I'm like really entrenched in these right now.
If you would have a magic wand and there would be one thing that you could change for your role as a marketer, what would that be? What's the one thing that you would change?
Oh, I love this question. Unlimited budget, is that an option? Because I would love that.
You have a
Wouldn't
magic
we
wand.
all love that?
Very good. And if you could snap your fingers and you could take one repetitive task have to be taken off your plate, which one would that be?
I would say marketing operations. A lot of repetition inside our marketing automation, analyzing segmentations and cleaning up data hygiene type lists and maintenance. It takes a lot of effort to make sure that the data that's going in is clean. Otherwise, the analytics and insights that come out will be junk. And that is definitely something that I would love to not have to do. If that could be an automated process, I just click a button and that says clean CRM and it just does it for me. That would be incredible.
Very cool. And for the very last question, I'd like to do a little bit of time travel, right? If we go back to your very first gig, your very first role in marketing, now, what would be the one advice moving back to that day that you would give yourself for your journey in marketing?
Say yes before you're comfortable saying yes. It's the biggest advice I give to people all the time. You don't learn if you stay in your comfort zone. You have to expand out. And often that means taking risks, even if you feel like you're not ready to take them.
Very cool. Now, I really appreciate, Ashley, that you took the time with us today and walked us through the world of Banzai. I want to give you a big shout out. Thanks a lot for joining. Now, I want to give you the very last word as well. If people would be forgetting all that we discussed about Banzai, what's the one thing they should remember?
Banzai helps you turn all of that marketing data into insights that you can use to actually make better decisions about the campaigns that you're running, the channels that you're using, and the way that you're impacting the bottom line.
Thanks a lot for being a guest on Pathmark Presents.
Thank you.